Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Julia. Hey, Julia.
Hey, Jason. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited for today's topic because we're going to help you speak English faster and sound more natural.
Yes, if you've ever felt that you speak too slowly in English or that you sound unnatural, then this episode is for you. Today, we're going to share practical techniques to help you increase your speaking speed while staying clear and confident.
That's right. Many English learners worry that if they speak faster, they will make mistakes or sound unclear. But here's the good news: you don't need to be perfect to sound natural. We'll teach you how to balance speed and clarity so you don't have to sacrifice one for the other.
Exactly. And don't worry, we won't just talk about theory. We'll share fun exercises that you can practice right away to improve your speaking speed.
Plus, we'll talk about common mistakes people make when trying to speak faster and how to fix them. So stay with us until the end because this episode will be full of useful tips.
All right, let's get started with our first topic, why speaking faster matters and how it can help you sound more like a native speaker. All right, let's start with an important question. Why does speaking faster matter when learning English? Some people might think speaking slowly is better because it gives them time to think. What do you think, Julia?
That's a great question, Jason. Speaking slowly is fine when you're just starting to learn a language, but if you want to sound more natural and confident, you need to train yourself to speak at a normal speed, just like native speakers do.
Exactly. Think about when you listen to native English speakers. They don't speak word by word like this. I am going to the store. Instead, they speak smoothly. Like this, I'm going to the store.
Right. And if you speak too slowly, it can make conversations feel awkward. Native speakers might interrupt you because they think you're finished speaking, or they might lose patience waiting for your sentence.
That's true. But speaking faster doesn't mean rushing or mumbling. It means learning how to group words together naturally and think in English instead of translating from your native language.
Yes. And there's a big difference between speaking quickly and speaking unclearly. If you rush your words and nobody understands you, that's not helpful. But if you train yourself to speed up gradually while keeping your pronunciation clear, that's where fluency happens.
Great point. And one more thing, when you speak faster, it actually helps you feel more confident. If you hesitate too much, you might start doubting yourself or getting nervous in conversations.
Absolutely. Plus, many English tests, job interviews, and everyday conversations expect you to respond quickly. If you can express yourself at a natural pace, you'll sound more fluent and professional.
That's why in the next section, we're going to talk about a common problem learners face when trying to speak faster, the mistakes that make them sound unnatural, and how to fix them. All right? Now that we know why speaking faster is important, let's talk about something that often happens when learners try to speed up their English common mistakes that make them sound unnatural.
Yes, many learners try to speak faster, but instead of sounding fluent, they end up mumbling, mispronouncing words, or getting stuck mid-sentence. Jason, what's one of the biggest mistakes you've noticed?
One of the most common problems is losing clarity. When people try to speak fast, they sometimes squish words together too much, making it hard to understand. For example, instead of saying, "Did you eat?" they might say something like, "G8?"
That's a great example. And while native speakers might say things quickly, they still pronounce words in a way that's clear enough to understand. If you rush too much and don't practice, your words can become unclear, and people might not understand you.
Exactly. Another mistake is thinking too much while speaking. Some learners try to translate sentences from their native language in their head before speaking. This makes them pause too much, which slows them down and makes them less confident.
Yes, that's why it's important to train your brain to think in English, so your words come out naturally instead of getting stuck.
Another common mistake is not using the right intonation and rhythm. Some learners think speaking faster means just rushing through words, but in English, we use stress and intonation to sound natural.
Great point. If you don't use the right rhythm, you might sound robotic or unnatural. English has a natural up and down flow, and if you ignore that, your speech can sound flat and strange.
And finally, a big mistake is getting nervous and stopping halfway through sentences. Some learners start speaking faster, but then panic and stop because they're afraid of making a mistake. This actually makes them sound less confident.
That's why it's important to keep going, even if you make mistakes. Remember, fluency is about communication, not perfection.
Exactly! Now that we know the common problems, let's move on to the fun part: how to improve your speaking speed while staying clear and natural. Stay with us. Now that we've talked about the common mistakes, let's focus on how to actually improve your speaking speed without losing clarity. We're going to share some effective techniques that will help you speak faster and sound natural at the same time.
Yes, the key is not just to speak fast, but to speak smoothly. The first technique is called chunking. Jason, can you explain what that means?
Of course! Chunking is when you group words together instead of saying each word separately. Native speakers don't say, "I am going to the store." Instead, they group words naturally and say, "I'm going to the store."
Exactly. If you practice chunking, your speech will sound more natural, and you'll automatically speed up without feeling rushed.
A great way to practice this is by reading sentences out loud and marking natural pauses. For example, this morning, I went to the market to buy some vegetables. You don't pause after every word, just at the natural breaks.
That's a great tip. Now, another powerful technique is called shadowing. This is when you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say in real time.
Yes, shadowing helps you train your mouth to move faster, and it also improves your pronunciation and rhythm. Julia, how can someone practice this?
Find a short clip of a native speaker, maybe from a podcast, a movie, or a YouTube video. Listen to a sentence and try to repeat it immediately, matching the speed and tone. At first, it might feel difficult, but over time, you'll notice your speech becoming faster and more natural.
That's a fantastic exercise. Another important thing is intonation and rhythm. English is not a monotone language. It has a natural rise and fall. If you ignore intonation and only focus on speed, you'll sound robotic.
Yes, you can practice by listening to how native speakers emphasize certain words. For example, in the sentence, "I didn't say she stole the money," if you emphasize "I," it means someone else said it. But if you emphasize "stole," it means she took the money, but maybe not in a bad way.
That's a great way to improve both speed and expression. Now, another simple but effective method is reading out loud every day.
Yes, if you practice reading out loud for just 5 minutes a day, your mouth will get used to forming English words more quickly, and your brain will process the language faster.
And to take it a step further, try timed speaking exercises. Set a timer for 1 minute and talk about a topic without stopping. Then, do it again, and try to say the same thing a little bit faster.
That's such a fun exercise. And finally, remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Speaking faster comes with practice, and the more you do it, the more confident you'll become.
That's right. Now that we've covered these techniques, let's talk about something really important: how to train your brain to process English faster so speaking naturally becomes automatic. Now that we've covered techniques for speaking faster, let's talk about an important part of fluency training your brain to process English faster. Because if your brain processes English slowly, your speech will also be slow, right?
Exactly. Many English learners struggle not because they don't know the words, but because their brain takes too long to find the right words when speaking. But don't worry, there are some simple ways to speed up your thinking in English.
Yes. The first technique is thinking in English. A lot of learners translate from their native language before speaking, which slows them down. Julia, what's a good way to stop translating?
A great way is to narrate your daily life in English. For example, when you wake up, try to describe what you're doing in English in your mind. I'm brushing my teeth, now I'm making coffee. I need to leave for work soon.
That's a great idea. If you practice this daily, your brain will get used to processing English without needing to translate.
Another way to train your brain is rapid vocabulary recall exercises. This means challenging yourself to quickly think of words without hesitation. Jason, can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you choose a category like fruits. Try to name as many as you can in 30 seconds. Apple, banana, orange, grapes, watermelon. This kind of speed practice helps your brain retrieve words faster in real conversations.
That's a great exercise. Another fun technique is playing word association games. Pick a word and quickly say another related word. For example, if I say ocean, you might say waves.
Oh, I love that game. It forces your brain to make quick connections, which helps you think faster in English conversations.
Yes, and another powerful method is listening to fast English regularly. If you only listen to slow English, your brain won't get used to processing real, fast speech.
That's so true. You can listen to podcasts, movies, or news reports in English, even if you don't understand everything. Over time, your brain will adjust to the speed and process words more quickly.
And one last tip: practice speaking without overthinking. Sometimes learners pause too much because they're afraid of making mistakes. But guess what? It's okay to make mistakes. The more you practice speaking naturally, the faster your brain will respond.
That's right. So let's quickly recap. Think in English, not your native language. Do rapid vocabulary recall exercises. Play word association games. Listen to fast English regularly. Practice speaking without overthinking.
If you train your brain with these techniques, you'll not only speak faster but also feel more confident in English conversations.
Now, let's move on to something just as important: how to stay confident when speaking fast, even if you make mistakes. Now that we've learned how to train our brains to process English faster, let's talk about something fun practice exercises that will help you speak faster in a natural way.
Yes, learning should be fun and engaging. If you enjoy the process, you'll improve much faster. So let's share some great exercises. Jason, what's the first one? First, speed talking challenge.
All right, here's a fun challenge. Set a timer for 1 minute and talk about any topic as fast as you can without stopping.
Oh, I love this one. You can describe your morning routine, your favorite food, or even what happened in your day. The key is to keep talking even if you make mistakes.
Exactly. And if you want to make it harder, record yourself and try to say the same thing even faster the second time. Second tongue twisters.
Here's another fun one: tongue twisters. These help you improve pronunciation, clarity, and speed at the same time.
Yes, let's try one right now. Repeat after me. She sells seashells by the seashore.
That one's tricky. Here's another: Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
If you can say these quickly and clearly, your speaking speed and pronunciation will improve naturally. Third, storytelling with a twist.
This one is so much fun. Choose a random story, maybe a fairy tale or a movie plot, and try to tell it in 30 seconds.
Yes. For example, if you choose Cinderella, you might say a girl has a mean stepmother, meets a prince, loses her shoe, and then they find each other and live happily ever after.
This forces you to speak quickly, focus on key details, and avoid overthinking. Fourth, role-playing conversations.
Another great exercise is role-playing conversations. Find a friend, or even practice alone, and act out real-life situations like ordering food, making small talk, or introducing yourself.
Yes, you can even pretend to be two people and switch roles. For example, hello, I'd like to order a coffee, please. Sure. Would you like sugar with that? Yes, please. Thank you.
This helps you think fast and respond naturally, just like in a real conversation. 5. Shadowing with a fun twist.
We talked about shadowing earlier, but here's a fun twist. Imitate actors or YouTubers. Find a scene from your favorite movie or TV show and copy how they speak. Speed, tone, and emotion.
That's such a fun way to practice. Try mimicking actors in movies like Harry Potter or Friends. This will help you develop natural rhythm and speed. Final thoughts.
All of these exercises are fun, easy, and super effective. The more you practice, the more natural speaking fast will feel.
Yes, so challenge yourself. Pick one of these exercises today and try it.
Now let's talk about something important: how to stay confident when speaking fast, even if you make mistakes.
Wow! We've covered a lot today. Why speaking faster matters, common problems, techniques, brain training, fun exercises. And now, it's time for some final tips and motivation.
Yes. If you've been listening, you already have everything you need to start speaking English faster and more naturally. But remember, the key to success is consistent.
Here are 3 final tips to keep in mind. Tip 1. Progress over perfection. Don't stress about making mistakes. The goal is fluency, not perfection. Even native speakers make mistakes. Tip 2. Speak every day. Even 5 to 10 minutes of speaking practice daily will make a huge difference. Whether it's talking to yourself, shadowing, or having conversations, just keep speaking. Tip 3. Have fun. Learning should be enjoyable. Use games, music, movies, and topics you love. The more fun you have, the faster you'll improve. Motivation to keep going.
Learning to speak faster and sound natural takes time, but remember, every step forward is progress.
Yes, and you are already improving just by listening to this podcast and learning new techniques. Keep going, and soon you'll notice big improvements in your fluency and confidence.
So, challenge yourself. Try one technique today and keep practicing. You've got this.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and keep practicing with us.
We'll see you next time. Happy learning.